Hello all, peace be with you. I hope you're doing well. We're back with another discussion on creed. In Arabic, it's aqidah. In English, we call it creed, beliefs. So we left off last time. We completed. We completed the section on the permissibility of interpreting verses from the Quran as well as narrations. Interpreting them, not meaning interpreting from one language to the other, but interpreting meaning interpreting the meanings. What does this verse mean? Using the language, using other verses of the Quran to properly interpret the Quran and the narrations, rather than just take them those verses, not those verses which can be misconstrued or misunderstood, misinterpreted, such as verses mentioning that God has a physical limb, like God having a face. Does it literally mean that God has a face, or is there a deeper meaning to it? That's interpreting that. For more on that, refer to the previous discussions. Okay? So now we have arrived using this book here, the establishment of clear exposition, a commentary on Al-Hadis, the fundamentals of the religion, by the Imam Rassi Society. This book is a great book, a commentary. You can find it online. You should purchase this book because it's worth purchasing. It's worth purchasing. It contains all the information you need, all clear as the sun on a clear sky to understand. Everything is just there, and it's full of evidence and just basic creed, the creed that I had been looking for my whole life. Meaning, had I known this as a child, I think I would have honestly, I think I would have been in a much emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically stronger position than I had been if I knew this as a child. But I didn't, and many of us didn't. Many of us did not, which is why we have to propagate and spread this creed. And those of you who are burning at the sound, hearing this, well, too bad. Not so sad. So this is how I am, because good must always stand up against evil. We call this al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa-nahy anil munkar, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. Enjoining the good and forbidding the evil means to defend and propagate that which is good, and to prohibit and denounce and condemn that which is evil. That's what it means. We do that in every way possible. I feel that many people may claim this and may say that they adhere to it, but they don't. They stay silent, or they behave like chickens, or that's not Islam. You're supposed to stand up for what's right. Not so it doesn't have to pertain to the Quran directly. You can see an animal, a literal chicken, an actual chicken being abused. Your job is to go and defend that chicken. Even a mouse, an ant, a fly. Your job is to defend that ant and fly. Your job is to be an animal rights activist. You should not be a vegetarian or a vegan, but you should be someone who defends that innocent creature. It's your job. You're supposed to, as a Muslim, you're supposed to be the forerunners of human rights, defending human rights, of defending animal rights, of defending the rights of life, of defending all rights, women's rights, all those isms that exist, which have, unfortunately, many of which have turned into extremes, or some of which anyway. You're supposed to be at the forefront of the good ones, meaning feminism. Yes, we defend women. Defending women's rights, defending men's rights, defending animal rights, defending that which is good. It's your job. That's enjoining what is good and forbidding what is evil. And it's an obligation, and it's one of our principles in Islam. So let's continue. By the way, I looked up so we said Majmu' al-Zawaid for Ibn Hajar so it was written in this commentary. Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, his name was Ibn Hajar al-Haytami, with a ta, and his book was called Majma'u al-Zawaid, not Majmu' al-Zawaid, Majma'u al-Zawaid. Just a correction, everyone makes mistakes, no problem. You find a mistake, you make a correction kindly, and that's it. So that's the name of the book, Majma'u al-Zawaid. We spoke about it in the last, I believe it was the last discussion. So now we continue with Imam al-Hadi's words before the commentary, because what happens is the commentators have given us an excerpt from his work, and then they would take either if it's a verse, they take the verse from the excerpt, or they take a sentence or two or more, and they a sentence or two, or just a fragment, or just one sentence, and then they commentate on it. So we have arrived at Imam al-Hadi's saying of, he is the arranger of space. He, meaning God, is the arranger of space. That is, he is the one who created space and placed everything in its due proportions. The Exalted says, after I seek refuge with the exalted God from the accursed Satan, in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Are you more difficult, the Exalted says, are you more difficult to create, or the heavens that he constructed? Are you more difficult to create, or the heavens he constructed? Or the heavens that he constructed? He has raised its canopy according to his measure. He bestows night with darkness, and he brings out its grandeur. Quran 79, 27 to 29. He also says, consider the sun and its brightness, as well as the moon and its reflection. Consider the day as it reveals, the night as it veils, the heaven and its construction, the earth and its expansion, as well as the soul and the portion given to it. 91, 1 through 7. Since space is arranged in proportions, it is therefore created. If it is created, then it is not possible that the Creator dwells within, as we had previously proven. So this is, if God creates a space such as earth, such as the heavens, such as the sky, how can God dwell there? How can he be there in what he created? And where was he before that? The Sunnis have a narration found in a book called Al-Farq Bayn al-Firaq, written by someone who had a hatred for Shia. I find him prejudiced. I forget his name, something al-Baghdadi, maybe Abu Mansur al-Baghdadi. Anyway, so it's about different creeds in Islam, within Islam, not outside of Islam, just within Islam. But he wrote in his book a narration attributed to Ali, which I don't know if Imam Ali really said it. But whether Imam Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, said it or not, the sentence is correct. The words are correct. كان الله ولا مكان وهو الآن على ما عليه كان. God was without a place, and he is now on what he was, meaning without a place. So whether Imam Ali said that or not is not the point. The point in this discussion, the point is that those words are true. Meaning, even if I said it or if someone else said it, it's correct. God was without a place, and he is now on what he was, without a place. He cannot rely and depend upon the sky to contain him. He creates it, and then he relies on it to contain him. How can that make him God? Then he would be there, but not there. And he would be there, but not there. You've just put yourself in quicksand, because you've given God limitations, which is unacceptable, because that's not part of it does not behoove God to be limited. He would not be God. You see how in Islam we believe that there is one God, and he is absolute. You see how we have described God. We don't believe in more than one God. We believe in one absolute God. What makes him God? I feel like people forget what God means. God is absolute, all powerful, omnipotent. omniscient. He is all powerful. You cannot say gods, because now when you say gods, it means each of these gods has a power. Do they all have the same amount of power? If they were to challenge each other, who would win? Or if no one would win, then why are there so many of them? Why are there so many gods? Why is there God of the moon, God of the sun? Why would you have that? You see, it does not agree with intellect, and it does not agree with the heart. It doesn't make sense. So people like the Christians who believe in the Trinity, or Hindus who believe in many gods, or those who ancient Greeks who believed in many gods, you see, these kinds of arguments that there are many gods don't hold up. Whereas the view that there is one all-powerful God who possesses dominion over everything, that's God. If someone comes to you and tells you there's a God of the sea, and there's a God of the sky, and there's a God of the moon, and the God of the sun, and the God of this, and the God of that, and you say, well, I believe in one God, and he's in control of all of those things. Which God is better? Of course, the one God. So he existed before all space and time. Those are Imam al-Hadi's words. He existed before all space and time. Since he is the creator of time and space, it is therefore necessary that he existed before and outside of them. Before time and space and outside of time and space. The author of Al-Iqd al-Thamin fi Ma'rifati Rabbil Alameen. I looked up this book. I couldn't find the source. But let's see what it says in any case. The author of Al-Iqd al-Thamin fi Ma'rifati Rabbil Alameen makes this concept clear from an intellectual perspective when he stated, let's see what he stated. If something was existent, muhdath, something that comes into being, if I'm not mistaken, is called muhdath in Arabic, something that comes into being, an occurrence. If something was existent, muhdath, then it is necessary that there be one that caused it to exist, muhdith, one that caused it to exist. If something is existent, something has to have caused it to exist. Because there are certain associations in corporeality and then divisions of objects and images. Look at the heavens, earth, fruits, trees, wells, stones, rivers, females, males, the living, the dead, the collective, and the dispersed. Those that are together, I believe, and those that are dispersed. Look at the necessary consequences of actions. They share in the nature of accidents. They all share the nature of accidents. Those things which, so the accident of these glasses here, they have glass and metal and a color and even a taste. I don't taste my glasses, but I'm sure there's some taste. There's paint on there. There's a shirt or some type of sweater or thermal, whatever you want to, and it's black and it's not smooth, and it's, it has its little its texture. These are accidents. Everything shares that. The airplane flying overhead has accidents. It has a color, it may have a number, it has a propeller, it has there's a small airport nearby. There's if you guys are wondering. So it has a tail. I'm looking at it. It has wings, it has a tail, it turns, it has certain characteristics. These are accidents. So not accident that it happened by accident. No. In philosophy and in ilm al-kalam discourse, an accident is that which basically you can say makes something what it is. But makes it what it is in that it has like a color, a shape, and without that, then it would not be an accident, but it has a shape and a color. And we mentioned that earlier in the text. That's what it's taste. Those are accidents. We can actually revisit it quickly just to give a quick recap. So the accidents are characterizations of physical entities into specific categories and groupings. This would include color, size, heat, coolness, movement, stillness, sweetness, bitterness, dryness, wetness, and so forth. Bodies are physical entities that are characterized by and manifest these accidents. For example, a rock is a body because it manifests the accidents of hardness, color, size, etc. Okay? So that's what it was. Okay, guys? So that's what we mean when we say accidents. So the author of this book, of not this book that we're reading not this book, but the book that we mentioned, العقد الثامن في معرفة رب العالمين. He says that they share in the nature of accidents. All of those things which are occurrences, all of those things which exist, they all, like earth, fruits, heavens, wells, stones, these all share in the nature of accidents. Consequently, it divides and parts between its desire, abundance, life, power, dryness, moisture, foods that we like and hate, various fragrances, heat, cold, the coming annihilation, opposite colors at the same time, the death that ceases provision, and hope. We know that it is necessary that there be differences to differentiate them. These occurrences of in-time creation are witnessed. It changes from another. These occurrences cannot transpire by themselves. Because if a thing happens, it demands that whatever brought it about exists before it. If something happens, it demands that there be something that existed before it and outside of it. So something that is not it, it's outside of it, and it existed before it. Something that's not in me and out, it has to be out, and it has to have existed before me. Think. Similarly, an image cannot produce itself, and there are no disputations amongst itself regarding its preparation. One cannot overcome that by anything from the statements, one cannot overcome that by any of the statements of the ignoramuses. You see how they use such language? People will say, "Oh, you're insulting. You're being insulting." They'll always use this type of language. They'll always be using this type of speech. If you say something that's not displeasing to them, they'll be sensitive and start calling it an insult or whatever. When in reality, that's what it is. It is a stupid idea. It is a foolish idea. If something is a stupid idea, if, for example, someone wants to ride in a boat, if you want to ride in a boat and the person decides to punch a hole in the boat, he says that, let's punch a hole in the boat. It'll look better. It will look like, we'll look tougher. We'll look like we've been in battles or we've been in some kind of crazy adventure. So let's punch a hole in the boat. He punches a hole in the boat ends up sinking. The boat can no longer float, so it sinks. Is that a stupid idea or is it not a stupid idea? It is a stupid idea. But you'll have people see, because nowadays everyone has become very sensitive. Look, if you say something to me, if you say to me, "Sammy, you're so thin." If you say, "Sammy, you're brown." If you say, "Sammy, your beard is coarse," I don't care. I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna say, I might give you an explanation as to why that might be the case, why I'm thin or why whatever. I don't take it personally. But people will be so sensitive and insecure and they'll take things personal. This is one of the major issues of this time, is people are so insecure. Everything to them is an insult. Everything to them is an insult. But look at how the authors of old used to speak. I didn't say this, he said. He said that one cannot overcome that by anything from the statements of the ignoramuses. He called them ignoramuses. If you use this word today Nowadays you can't use this word unless you're talking to a Zionist or someone of that level of evil. Nowadays you have to be very careful not to offend someone. Be careful not to call someone who's bearded a she. Excuse me, a he, because he's a she. Until when? Until when will this continue? Until finally it's going to be wrong for me to exist as a human, period? Meaning, being a human, that's offensive to be a human because it offends the other creatures that live around us, so we can't be human anymore. We have to commit suicide now. Is that what it's going to lead to? That's my point. Is it going to lead to the point where everything becomes offensive? Every single thing becomes offensive to the point where you just being you is offensive to someone. I'm not saying commit suicide or anything related to that. I'm saying, until when will it reach? Until the point where a person feels that he's offending nature because he exists? So he doesn't believe in coexistence anymore? Because somehow in his mind it's become offensive to exist? Is that what we're saying? What's happening? Don't people say that they prefer to be vegetarian and vegan because of animal? Everyone has a different reason, but usually they want because of what happens to animals. They're defending animals. Well, what about the hawks and the eagles and the lions and all of the predators out there that prey on other animals? If you have a cat or a dog, they eat meat. Are you going to turn them into vegetarian? Well, they're animals. If they're animals, well, they're doing it. So it must mean that they're bad. If you're talking about animal cruelty, that's another story. That's a whole nother topic. We Muslims are against animal cruelty. But Sammy, there are Muslims that treat animals bad. Those are they. We're not talking about them. Those are bad people. We condemn them. I'm sure every commentator of this book or anyone involved with this book has a problem with animal cruelty. Sorry to digress, but it's an important thing to mention. So he says, we know that it is necessary that there be differences to differentiate from. These occurrences of in-time creation that happens in time creation, are witnessed. It changes from another. These occurrences cannot transpire by themselves. They can't happen by themselves, because if a thing happens, it demands that whatever brought it about exists before it and outside of it. It has to have existed before it and outside of it. It has to be free from what? Time and space. Similarly, an image cannot produce itself, and there are no disputations among itself regarding its preparation. One cannot overcome that by anything from the statements of the ignoramuses, those who are ignorant, like the Salafis. That's who they are today, the Salafis. You cannot say things, such as what we have just mentioned, and ignore this without being an ignoramus. The Sunnis, they'll say Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, may God bless him. For what? For having caused us a bunch of issues? They know he's wrong. I've mentioned in a previous discussion, if you want to quote him, if he said something that you feel would benefit people, say this guy, Ibn Taymiyyah, said this is something good, but the guy was bad. If you're going to mention him. It's like me saying that, if I think about it, if I were to mention a harsh dictator, why would I quote a harsh dictator, right? Because that would be giving him credit for something. So the harsh dictator is bad, and then people like Ibn Taymiyyah are bad. I guess if there's an idea that would benefit mankind, because a bad person may have one good idea that may benefit mankind right now, we can take that idea and apply it. So I guess that's logical. That's logical. Makes sense. In any case, they say, those ignoramuses, they say that everything comes from nature, a body, orbit, a star, a cause, an intellect, a spirit, a soul, or other than that. So he's talking, I guess, about those who believed in other gods besides God, not even the Salafis. But the Salafis, even, they don't really believe in... they don't believe in this because they limited God to space. So, I mean, this applies to them too. So it applies to, and in any case, so consequently, these would be the kinds of affirmations without fail. One who brings into existence or one who does not bring into existence. The one who brings into existence is, without fail, pre-existent and existent. The one who brings into existence. Okay? So to just repeat, because I mentioned, I commented on something, just to repeat from the last sentence of the previous paragraph. They, the ignoramuses, say that everything comes from nature, a body. From nature, a body, orbit, a star, a cause, an intellect, a spirit, a soul, or other than that. Consequently, these would be the kinds of affirmations without fail. One who brings into existence or one who does not bring into existence. Or into existence. The one who brings into existence is, without fail, pre-existent or existent. It is not possible that a first cause be brought into existence. The first cause cannot be brought into existence, or that it is non-existent. It cannot be that it is not existent. The first cause. Consequently, it is necessary to the knowledgeable one that he should be eternal and completely independent from that which was caused first. From that which was caused first. It is not possible that the first cause be existent because it is without fail that it either brings itself into existence or it is brought into existence by a different being, the first cause. If it brought itself into existence, its effect, i.e. its createdness, is a result of another cause, of its like. Our knowledge of differences of the world could prove the invalidity. Our knowledge of differences of the world could prove the invalidity of the statement that the first cause be the exact same one that brought itself into being, or that there be similar first causes. It is not possible that there be another first cause because the first cause would no longer be the first cause. This is because at the moment that this takes place, this would bring about a sharing of the world, which causes a need. This will in turn cause a vicious cycle, Dawrul Kalam, from the vicious cycle. From the first cause that will not be from the first cause, it will cause a vicious cycle from the first cause that will not be understood or enclosed. Yanhasir, if I'm not mistaken, enclosed. The conclusion must be based on certainty and determinative judgment that it, the world, that it is existent and fashioned. It is existent and it's fashioned, meaning it's formed. This is a result of the chief doer. He is the ever-living, Al-Hayy, the self-existent, Al-Qayyum, God. What is being said is that the first cause I'm just trying to look through it just to bring the points. It is not possible that a first cause be brought into existence or that it is non-existent. It is not possible that it be brought into existence or that it is non-existent. Consequently, it is necessary to the knowledgeable one that he should be eternal and completely independent from that which was caused first. It is not possible that the first cause be existent, because it is without fail that it either brings itself into existence or it is brought into existence by a different being. My understanding, and I could be wrong, is that the first cause is referring to a cause, something which has been caused. So let's say a cloud. Let's say God caused this. Let's say a cloud was caused, okay? Was caused. A cloud just came formed in the, a cloud was formed. The cloud is in the sky. Let's just say the sky has not been created. Forget the sky for now. A cloud is there. This is what comes to my mind. A cloud is there, okay? It's a rain cloud, but it's a cloud. We don't know that it's a rain cloud yet. We just know it's a cloud. The cloud is there. That is what has been caused, the first cause. Then another cause comes after it, etc., etc. What brought the cloud into being? Did it bring itself into being? Or did something else bring it into being? Nothing brings God into being. God is not a cause. He is not a cause. So what is God? This conclusion must be based on certainty and determinative judgment that it, the world, is existent and fashioned. The cloud and everything in it. The world is existent, it exists, and it's fashioned, meaning it was formed, it was shaped a certain way, organized a certain way, it was given a certain appearance and a certain certain characteristics. It's fashioned. This is a result of the chief doer. Of the chief doer. He is the ever-living. There's nothing that causes him. He is the ever-living. Al-Hayy, the alive, the ever-living. The self-existent. Al-Qayyum, the self-existent. This is God. That's what makes God God. Is that there is nothing like him. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is like him. Absolutely. The Salafis say, we only take what is apparent from the Quran. But that part of the verse, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, nothing is like him. Why didn't they take that one literally? You see, they contradicted themselves. The same way the Christians contradicted themselves. The same way the Jews contradicted themselves. The same way everyone except us contradicted themselves. Ash'aris got close. Close, I say. I didn't say they got too close, but they got close. But we'll learn more about them later. But they fell short. Somehow the Ash'aris, their leader, Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, who's a descendant of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, may Allah be pleased with him. Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, who founded the Ash'ari school, they'll tell you that no, this is the original belief of the Prophet and he just revived it. Or Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, he was a Mu'tazili for 40 years, 40. And you can look up what caused him to leave I'tizal. I'tizal is the noun. Mu'tazili is a noun too, a person who's Mu'tazili. I'tizal is the name of the ideology. He left after 40 years over a tiny argument, a tiny dispute that one can easily refer. 40 years it took you to come up with this argument? No problem. It takes people time to come up with things. I get it. It happens to me. Happens to everyone. But 40 years you were a Mu'tazili, you came up with a small argument and that led you to leave. To demote yourself. That's what he did. So in any case, people get close, but not close enough. You will see here, we get close. We enter the sun without burning. Truly amazing and remarkable what the book contains. So, this is what makes God God. No one, in my understanding, learns about God in this way from the Muslims. They're just taught that there's God. They teach their kids there's God. His name is Allah, and that's it. He's in control of everything. You have to believe in him, and that's it. Where is he? Who is he? You have to go to a special school to learn about these things. You have to go to Al-Azhar. You have to go to a special school, and then you can learn these things. Or this is not made for the general public to understand. We on the pulpits, we'll just talk about giving water to those who need water, which is good. That's not a bad thing. But we won't delve into these topics about who is God. No. So people go to the mosque, to the masjid, like cattle. They'll just flock to the masjid on a Friday or whatever day it is, and just to learn about that which they won't learn about creed. However, I will be honest, and I will say, I remember, I think it was a Thursday night, that I attended a Deobandi majlis, a Deobandi gathering. Deobandis are a group of Muslims who mainly they hail from South Asia, mainly from places like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and these areas. So, the sheikh. So Deobandis are munazziha. They're from Ahl al-Tanzih. They don't believe that God is a physical body. They condemn this belief. The Imam brought up how on Thursday nights, I believe, God descends. He said that. But he specified. The Imam specified. The Imam, long beard, okay, shaved to very fine, very shortly trimmed mustache, Hanafi, and wearing a kufi and topi, as they call it, and thobe. He was wearing a thobe. I believe he's Indian. But he specified, and he said that God doesn't come down physically. I believe he was standing. He was physically standing, the Imam, and he said God doesn't come down physically. This was good it was good that he said this. He specified. I don't agree fully with the Deobandis, but they're close to us. They're close to us. In different ways. I don't agree with Sufi aspects here and there, but they are. We do share things with aspects. We do share. In any case, he made it specific. You don't find this in different masajid, but he made it specific. I'm happy that he did that, because he defended a point that God does not come down. Whereas I believe it was Ibn Battuta, that was his name, Ibn Battuta, who was a traveler. He mentioned, I don't know which source, he was a traveler. He mentions in a source that he said there was a man in Sham, Damascus, I think, either Damascus or just Sham, which is Syria. He said there was a man named Ahmed ibn Taymiyyah, and he said that God descends, but he descended literally. Ibn Taymiyyah, according to Ibn Battuta, who is from North Africa somewhere, either Morocco or Algeria, that area, maybe even Tunisia. He said he was a traveler, if I'm not mistaken. He said that Ibn Taymiyyah, he got up and he literally said, like he got down. That's what Ibn Battuta wrote in a text of his. Look it up. Ibn Battuta, IBN space BATTTUTA or UTAH. Battuta. Look him up. So anyways, that's what I have for now. I will see you guys on the following lesson. We will continue, I believe, speaking about on the following lesson we talk about, or we will start talking about he existed when there were no heavens, earth, no heavens, earth. So we're continuing with Imam al-Hadi's book, God willing. Okay, and we'll see what the commentary is. Until always keep safe. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you for watching. You get this book. If you like this book, even if you don't, go get this book. Hardcover. You want to have hardcovers of these kinds of texts. They last. They're great. It's good to add to your collection. Great book. You can get ahead of me in the lessons, in the discussions. And so in any case, thanks for watching, and peace be with you.